Good evening and welcome to the Revere School Committee of the Whole meeting. It's September 20th, 2022, and currently 5:05. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bronston Rizzo.
Here.
Mr. Ferranti.
Here.
Ms. Gravellisi.
Here.
Mr. Kingston.
Here.
Mrs. Milbury Ellis. Here. Ms. Ty. Mayor Arrigo.
Can we all please stand to salute the flag? Okay, starting off with agenda item number 1, consent calendar. Does anyone have any questions on the minutes that were sent to us this week? Moving on to warrants. Anyone have any questions or items to mention under warrants? Mr. Ferranti.
Thanks, Mr. President. All right, Matt, on page 4, I'm just really interested on the roof repairs, what building we did, 149, 150. One's for 366, the other's 2653. I was just interested which roof had the issue.
Yeah, so this is written out of a district-wide account. I'll have to pull 5342 and 5015, and I'll send the detail to the committee so that you can see. One is minor.
Right.
It could be the same project split over 2 different purchase orders.
All right. On page,
Matt, I believe that that was for the boiler project at the Beachmont School where they had to introduce some piping through the roof.
Okay.
And the first smaller amount was for a test patch that they did, and then the larger amount was for the full project.
thank you. On page 5, number 184, retrofit, it says security and backup. Is that a one-time fee or is that a yearly fee?
This would be an annual cost for all security cameras district-wide for making sure that they're up and running properly. So Jonathan Ferrara would intersect with this vendor to make sure that that system is not down. And the cost that you're seeing here is for district-wide cameras, not just at the high school.
If we had this cost every year, I understand it's probably more this year, but we've had a yearly cost on this?
Yeah, it's a state contract vendor, so the prices have been negotiated at the state level, and then we have to revisit based on the number of active cameras in use, how many they're actually supporting.
Is that a plus the new ones we're putting in this year?
Right, so this payment would be for this school year,
Right.
and then next year, the likelihood of removing cameras is smaller, so we'll see this increase, but it's based on how many that they're supporting.
And my last question is on page 9, number 290, DMCO Inc., library furniture, about $29,000. I was just interested which school that was for, or was that a combination?
That was purchased off of a grant. Do we know?
And that was for the Garfield School. It was part of the ESSER grant. We had agreed to refurnish their library for the first time in, I
Long
think,
time.
30 some odd years.
Right.
Well worth it. Thank you very much.
I just want to note for the committee that the mayor has joined the meeting virtually.
Welcome. Anyone else have questions for Mr. Cruz on the warrants? Okay, we say thank you, Mr. Cruz.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
We have no financial reports at this time and no food service financial reports. We have communications. Ms. Gravellisi?
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Okay, we have 2 communications. One from the Garfield Elementary School requesting disposal of outdated library books. Says, Dear School Committee, the Garfield Elementary would like to formally request permission to dispose of old library books, books that are capable of being donated will be made available to parents and students to augment home libraries. The remainder of the books are worn beyond practical use, have missing pages, deteriorated bindings, or have content that is outdated. It would not be appropriate to further use. The second communication is disposal of a van. This comes from the Director of Facilities and Maintenance. Dear school committee members, the Maintenance and Transportation Department are asking for the removal and disposal of the 2010 Chrysler Town and Country minivan. The current condition of the vehicle is unsafe to transport any child or adult within the system and would not pass inspection. The underbody carriage of the vehicle is rusted through, which is causing the vehicle to not have brakes, power steering, etc. We're requesting approval on the removal and disposal of this vehicle. Let's see, and also the third one is disposal of outdated and broken electronic items at the Lincoln. Dear Dr. Kelly, I have worked closely with our technology over the summer to identify broken electronic items at the Lincoln School. The technology department has determined that none of these items are fixable or hold any value. Therefore, they would not be suitable for donation or sale. May I please have approval to dispose of these items?
And we don't need, we had an enrollment update last month, so none this month. Personal items, new hires, retirements. Anyone have any questions on that item that was sent to us last week? Seeing none, we'll move on to school field trips. We have one from Revere High School Outdoors Club. Did anyone have any questions? This is on a Saturday. It is out of state. There are, I believe, 9 to 20 students with 4 chaperones. So it seems like a pretty good number for student and parent ratio. And it is not an overnight field trip, so I know I am comfortable. Anyone have any concerns?
And just to clarify, the number of students is 15 to 25.
Okay. Give or take. Sorry. With that number, is everyone comfortable? Yes. Okay. So does anyone wish to take that off the consent agenda and to make it open to the,
Yeah, that would be great to let everyone know.
let people know
field
that
trips
the
are
field
back
trips are
and-
back and life is
and
starting?
Yes, and the kids are going to be engaging
Okay.
in great activities.
So that will be taken off the consent calendar and brought on the floor. And number 2, regular meeting agenda items and miscellaneous items. I have a couple, but I will relinquish to anyone who may have questions or items that might want to be brought up at this time. Mr. Ferranti.
Thanks, Mrs. Rizzo. I know we talked about it, but are we gonna, eventually, and I know we're, the evaluations tonight, are we gonna have a meeting to really redo it or reset the evaluation going forward?
No, we did the evaluation, we compiled it, and we're going forward as I hope everyone got my email on it.
Yes.
Okay, I got nervous for a minute, he didn't receive.
Moving forward, I'm talking moving forward. We're changing.
Oh, no. We will have a, some type of ad hoc committee so that we can get ready for the next one and be a little bit more organized and updated on it. But as it stands, we'll move forward after tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. I just had a couple of questions, or not even questions. One, Dr. Kelly, on the website, we have our old budget up. If someone could probably give Paul Amato the new budget and he can upload that one so that that would be current. And also, when I look under the recent news, all 3 of them are basically old titles. And we did say at our June 21st meeting, we voted on a resolution regarding sanctuary laws for transgender students, and we were going to promote that on the website so that our students and staff know that we are there to promote and support them. So maybe out of those 3 items, that could be listed, if possible. I mean, Paul would have more of an idea if it can be done or not. Okay. The budget, oh, and I have one more on, I know, our HR, Ms. Maida, she put out a vacancy for language assistant coordinator. I was wondering if that was a vacancy or a new position?
That is a vacancy. Well, the current employee has given us her notice. She's going to be leaving by the middle of October, so.
And there is, oh, so that was the same person for multi-learners and the world language department? Is it one person?
It's one person,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. What time do you have?
I have one other thing that I'd like to share with the committee that isn't on the agenda either. It's really just a point of information that we've been working with Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, and Lahane specifically for our special education legal services. And there have been some changes in staffing there that are moving us to switch our special education services over to Valario, Dominello, and Hillman so that we can have all of our legal services under one umbrella.
That's a wonderful idea. Can I have a 2-minute recess, please? Motion for a 2-minute recess?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, and welcome back to the Committee of the Whole meeting. At this time, our regular agenda is finished. And at this point, we have some parents in the audience, and we have a little extra time. So we are going to allow them to have an opportunity to speak to us. They have some cute little kids here that might want to go home and have dinner. So instead of keeping them around for another hour, we're going to allow them to speak to us at this time. So if each of you want to come up one at a time, or if you want to come.
Mrs. Rizzo, you do have to do a motion to suspend the rules.
Sorry. So will someone entertain a motion to suspend the rules for?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion by the mayor and second by Mr. Ferranti.
So you can either come up one at a time, or if you feel better as a group, And we would just ask for your name, please?
Good afternoon. We here, well, first, my name is Paula Mejia. I'm Anthony's mom. I'm living in 525 Mountain Avenue. Around in, been in Riviera for about 4 years already. So my son is in an AC Whelan school since kindergarten. So we have these issues this year with the bus transportation. In my case, I didn't receive any notice about the transportation until the one day before school. I called the school and said I didn't know anything about my bus. It's gonna be same stop or how it's gonna work. The lady answered me like, your child didn't qualify for the bus this year. And I was totally surprised because after the pandemic, finally I got a job. So the job is starting at 8 o'clock and get out at 4. So it doesn't let me have the chance to either drop him or pick him up. So it was kind of, at the last minute, figured out what I'm going to do because I didn't have any notice before with the transportation. So the first day was totally a mess. Everybody was waiting for the bus. I get out from the house at 8 o'clock. I call my job and say, I'm going to be late. I'm going to drop off my son at school. And in front of my house is one stop. It was 20 kids waiting for the bus. So I was telling the moms, it's no bus this time. You got to go run to the school. Otherwise, you're going to be late. So they were surprised. They was like, oh, I was waiting for the bus too. So they was, running, other walking and see how we're going to get to the school. So I found out other moms have the same problem or same issues. So we went to the school and told to them about how we can fix this matter. So they said, unfortunately, there's no funds for the transportation or drivers. And I'm like, okay, I understand, but I should have a notice. That way I can have a plan B with my son, especially he's 7 years old. And I say, okay, how about he can walk? It's 20 minutes walk. Because I drive, but it's 7 minutes, but I walking is 25. So we did the math and everything is 1 mile from one side and 1.2 to other side. So he's like, oh, Richard, I believe his name. Yes, I talked to him by email every time. I'm like, can you help me? He's like, no, your son didn't qualify because you're 30 miles away. I'm like, I'm one in. My concern was last year he was in the bus all year, you know what I mean? And it was no issues. And now it's an issue because of the mile, right? So I say, okay, I understand he didn't qualify for the staff that is right close to my house. How about if I go to the 2 blocks down, it's 2 more stops, Dale Street or Washington Street. He's like, no, I can make any exceptions. Your son gotta go the way that you drop him the first day. Okay, I was totally oh my God, what I'm gonna do? Because I work, I can ask for 1 day, but 5 days of 5 times a day, 2 times a day, morning and afternoon. So it's been, so he said, I have an option for you. How about early school or after school? And I say, okay, I'm gonna find out the options, but it's 66 per day, and it's only an hour. So for 5 days, it's $350 a week. It's half of my check, or more than half. So I can make it. So that was really the misunderstanding or the poor or the communication, right? If you maybe communicate to me a couple, I don't know, weeks ahead, I can even, I don't know, make a meeting with other moms and help each other, right? But I just met these girls here in the first day of school, and the same thing. They had a job and they can take care everyone. Either though, if I can help other moms, I can feed only 4 kids in my car. And it's like 15, 20, they need transportation. So it was all in the about the complaint is like why the lack of the communication, right? And we understand funds and everything, but how about last year when the pandemic was really bad and it was transportation? Now things getting better. I'm not saying we are out of the pandemic, but it's getting better and it's even worse. So it's like you have to work, or how about your child education? So I'm between both. So I had a special accommodation now. Like I'm taking my break, the time that I can pick him up. But it's crazy because it's a lot of traffic, all the buses, people's going around. So I'm getting late every day back to work. So it's like super stressful. Like you're running late for your child, and like today, he was inside waiting for me because it was 3 o'clock, and I was telling him, I'm sorry, I don't want to never let you alone, but I couldn't find any parking, and it was really crazy around. So it's only that we here because we want have more support for moms like us. I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom right now, and I'm like, I don't handle this. My oldest one is here with you guys. She's in 9th grade. She's okay. I mean, she can walk, but she's 15 years. I understand she can walk, but how about my 7 years old? And so that's one other question that I have. I told the teacher, okay, he can walk. Okay, so tomorrow he's gonna go by himself. She was like, no, he can. He needs at least fifth graded or another person, and so I don't have any other option. My daughter get out at 2:20 from here. She don't have a chance to walk all the way there to pick him up. So it's, you know what I mean? So it's kind of complicated. So we're here to see if we can get a support to get at least, I'm not saying the same stop, but at least one stop for the kids that is in the air. It's more than 20 kids.
Okay, and I apologize for stopping you.
No,
I do want to let you know, we are listening, and we will discuss it. We're not going to discuss it here at this time.
No, I
We'll
understand.
listen to anyone else that might come at 6 o'clock. But I just wanted to give the others the option.
Absolutely, no, I'm done.
We usually allow 3 minutes for
Oh, okay.
this.
I'm sorry.
No, it was lovely, and I got to stare at your handsome son. So that was a pleasure, but I'm going to ask if the other parents want to come up and speak for 3
I will
minutes.
say thank you so much for your time.
You're more
I'm
than
sorry, I talked a
welcome.
lot.
And again, don't look at us as we're not listening because we're not replying to you. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Najwa Al-Harish. I have a little boy here. He going to Susan B. Anthony.
Najwa, can you state your address also for the
Oh,
record?
I
That's
live
okay.
in 57 Madison Street. And I called the school before we descend me. My son is not qualified for bus. And we live in Madison, cross from Mountain Ave and Park Ave. And I asked him why my son, if he's not qualified for Mountain Ave, he can walk 1 block. He can walk 1 block to Park Ave and get the bus. He told me, your son is not eligible for the bus. And I see, I can't, how I'm gonna do it? And he told me, I will send you a private alphabet, what they call it, alphabet transportation. Alphabet transportation. When I see the price, I don't make $600 a week. I don't make $600 a week to pay alphabet school. I'm staying home and take my son back and forth to school, and I'm not gonna work, and I'm gonna be calling the government to get help, because how I'm gonna do it? I can't, because I can't stay home. I switched my day, and I told him, it's my son, he's not coming. He called me the day before school. He told me, your son, he has to be in school. by the law, your son has to be in school. And I see, by the law, who's going to pay my rent? If I stay in home, taking my kids, and my job starts at 6 o'clock, and I finish at 2:45, how am I going to do it? I leave my house 5:30 in the morning. Who's going to take care of it? That's why we need help for buses, especially half a day. Last Wednesday is half a day. How are we going to do it? If we find somebody, take him in the morning and bring him, we begging people to take, oh, if you're not working, can you pick up my son? But it's not going to work. Maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, but it's not for a whole year. It's going to be tough, very, very tough. And thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
You are.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rosa, and I live at 62 Lambert Street. And my daughter used to ride the same bus as their kids, and I have the same issue. I start working every day at 6 a.m. My coworker lives on Wren Street, and her daughter uses the same bus. So used to use the same bus, but now, like, I had to find someone to drop off my daughter in the morning, and thank God I work with this girl, and she gives me a ride to pick up my daughter every day. But weekly, I have to spend no less than $30 or $36 a week for dropping off my daughter to the other lady who helps me a lot, and I pay her because she had to quit her job because she has 2 daughters. And she couldn't find anybody else to do it for her. She used to start working at 8 a.m. and she had to stop working. And to me, it's hard because I have to start at 6 a.m. And thank God I have some help. I'm sorry, I'm blessed because I have help. But I know a lot of parents like this girl. She had to quit her job, and one of the options that they gave me was that the kids could walk together to school, but that's impossible because among all the mothers on that street, like the ones that I know, all the kids are in between the ages of 6 and 9 years old, so they cannot walk together. Besides, like, if my daughter goes by one side to go to the school, the projects are there, and it's kind of dangerous for her. Like, and she's only 7. Even if she walk with someone who is 9 years old, the 9-year-old girl cannot take care of my 6-year-old girl daughter. And all the parents around there, if you saw the bus, it was all kids from 6 to 9 years old. The older one was 9. So we really need a bus back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies, we appreciate you coming here, and like we said, we'll take it under advisement. And beautiful children.
Thank you so much for your time. and sorry
Thank
for
you.
coming earlier. Thank you. He did it. He has soccer games.
Okay, did anyone have any last-minute items for this meeting? Hearing and seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
So we will see everyone back here at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you.